How's it going, guys? It is Chad here from Lewtoons, and welcome to another Q&A video. The word another used somewhat lightly because the last time we did like a proper Q&A was about 2 years ago. I'm very excited to do another one because today we are celebrating something so exciting. I recently hit 500,000 subscribers, 500,000 subscribers. You know, right here at this desk in this exact spot is where I began my channel about 4.5 years ago, and everybody who starts on YouTube, believe it or not, starts at 0 subscribers. So I can't believe I'm sitting here making a 500,000 subscriber video. So that is cause for celebration. You can enjoy this for the whole video. The table's old, it's shaky. So about a week ago, I posted a video asking you guys for some questions. Of course, I get a billion questions all the time in the comments of every video I make, but it's much easier to just have them all in one place. So right now, I'm gonna take some time, go through all the questions. There's over 1,000 of them. Unfortunately, I can't answer them all. It's not like the old days. My first Q&A video, I actually answered every single question. It took me like 6 hours to film, plus all of the editing. It was not the best. 500,000 subscribers, 500,000. I cannot believe it. So let's pour ourselves some drinks, let's crack ourselves some beers, and let's answer some questions. Our first question comes from Dino Jess. What was my favorite cartoon to draw? I'm assuming you're talking about the drawing series. I actually really enjoyed drawing the South Park, even though it was like an easier style to do. But because it was so easy, it's very easy to get very exact. So I enjoyed that. And I also really loved all of the Disney styles where I did sort of a cute sidekick, charming prince, and like a creepy villain. So those are probably some of my favorites, but I love doing those challenges, and it's very cool that you guys like them. So thanks for your question, Dino Jess. Next question comes from Nerd Chic. Probably chic, not chick, I would think. Thank you for the wonderful compliment. You want to know, would I consider doing animations? And yes, I grew up all through middle school and high school doing plenty of animation. I'm nothing professional. I'm not a professional animator, but just a self-taught animator in Flash. You can find tons of my animations over on newgrounds.com, which is where I got my start. Some of my old embarrassing stuff, if you want to head over there and look me up, you're welcome to. But you can actually find a couple of my animations right here on Lewtoons towards the beginning of the channel, because that's how I got started. But perhaps what you mean is what I consider making animations in the future, and that is something that I dream of. That's kind of my big dream, is to produce my own animated series. Maybe that starts online here as a web series. Maybe I take a big portfolio into Cartoon Network and pitch them something. Who knows how that could play out, but that's my dream, and I hope it comes true, and maybe thanks to you guys it could. Next question comes from Maximiliano Pena. It's a pretty cool name. Looks like you want to know if I've ever heard of the Ace Attorney games and what's my opinion on them. I don't know much about them. I've never played them, but they've always looked really cool to me. I really love any video game that sort of tweaks a normal formula. As far as I know, it's sort of like an interrogation game, I think. I don't know if there's a lot of like mechanics to it. So that seems really fun to me. Stories and the law aspect and the objections! Frankie Rodriguez wants to know, what did I want to do before YouTube, and what made me want to be a YouTuber? Well, you know, me and my friends in high school actually made a bunch of YouTube videos. We wanted them to get big. That was back in the 240p days. It wasn't really until late in my college years, around like 2011, 2012, that I started really becoming a YouTube viewer and watching a lot of YouTube videos and learning that there were channels that you could expect more content from. And I always say this when people ask, the YouTuber Giguk, who makes anime videos, was one of the people that really inspired me. Also, like Peanut Butter Gamer and JonTron. Kind of a combination of those two gaming channels, and Giguk kind of is the birth of what you see on my channel, because I kind of took those two things and said, well, wouldn't it be cool if there was something like that for cartoons? And there you have it. Calvini Squeezy wants to know, when will I make another knockoff review? There won't be another knockoff review till after September, but there will be a knockoff style review. Skelling Bones will be present. He'll be there to annoy me. And that will be for Disney month. It won't be a knockoff Disney movie, but it will be a Disney sequel that is less than wonderful, shall we say. So look forward to that. It's going to be a jam-packed Disney month. I'm already preparing for it right now, very far ahead of time. So I'm very excited for this Disney month, hoping it's going to be the biggest one ever. Moje Jesus. Oh, I'm sorry. By the way, apologies to everyone in advance for your names. I'm going to try my best with them, but, you know. He wants to know, do I like Game of Thrones? And yes, I do love Game of Thrones. I'm totally caught up. I'm ready for the next season, and I'm ready to see what happens, but no spoilers in the comments for those who haven't seen it. The Time Wolf wants to know, finally almost halfway to the gold play button, how excited am I to make my way to the top? I honestly don't think that I'll ever get to 1 million subscribers, but we'll see, but I kind of feel like I'll find sort of a comfort zone in the higher 100,000 range. But if more of you guys keep coming and watching the videos and sharing them with your friends and all that good stuff, then maybe I will get there, and that would be absurd. I think my mind would truly be blown to the point of like splatter against the wall. But we'll see. I don't expect to get to 1 million though, but I'm very happy with where I'm at, and I'm very humbled to be here. So I'm focusing on this for now. Dr. Awesome 1000, if YouTube didn't exist, what would I be doing? Well, a lot of you guys may or may not know that I actually did have a full-time job for the first like 3.5 years that I was on YouTube doing motion graphics and editing, so some stuff very similar to what I actually do on YouTube, just kind of creating cool intros and doing some sound editing with sound effects and just kind of designing some things. So I'm very suited to making YouTube videos because it's what I'm trained in and it's what I know. I mean, I know how to animate, I know how to design stuff, I know typography, I have a degree in graphic design and digital media, so this is sort of my world in a way, so it feels lucky. I don't envy someone who's like, I want to make YouTube videos, but then they don't know how to do a lot of those design things. I feel very privileged to have fallen into it that way, but I've only been lucky enough to quit that job, which was actually a really great job that I really loved. I was only lucky enough to stop working at that job pretty recently, like a year ago, so I've only been doing YouTube as a job, and I still do freelance and other stuff, so I still don't quite do YouTube as a full-time job, but I was only lucky enough to quit that job about like a year ago, so I've been like kind of living the dream this year, and it's kind of crazy. But hey, we're doing it, and it's all thanks to you guys. Emilio Delta wants to know, what's my favorite anime? I love Yu Yu Hakusho. There's a lot of other animes that I really love, but Yu Yu Hakusho I think is like my definitive favorite anime. If you want to hear me talk more about anime, I did make a 3-part anime series that you guys can check out right over there. I'm really proud of it. I put a lot of work into it, just because I knew that people would be very critical of me talking about anime, so I made sure that the screws were tight, the production was locked in, and I'm really proud of it, so check out those videos if you want to hear me talk about some anime stuff. Brianna M wants to know if I'm going to buy the Gravity Falls Journal 3, and the answer is no, because I've already got my own journal. I'm sure most of you guys have seen that I made my own journal. It may not have the contents on the inside, but I still really love it, and where is it sitting? So yeah, I've already got my journal here, and let's not bang the eyeglass onto the ground there. I've already got my journal here, and I really love this thing. I think it looks great, and something about it, just the way it's worn, there's like some bleaching from the sun, and just some wear and tear because this is a used book, and I think that some of the wear and tear and things in the purchased book might not look quite as like grizzled, if you will. So I'm really happy with this book, but if you guys don't feel like making your own, then I'm sure you guys will really love the book that they made, but I'm gonna skip out on that one. Ricky Barnes, what Hogwarts or Ilvermorny house are you, and how am I? Well, Ricky, I'm doing great. I'm very excited. I'm having a wonderful day. I hope you are as well, all of you guys. In terms of Hogwarts houses, the official Pottermore quiz, I got placed in Slytherin, and I actually, because that quiz came out actually only recently, long before then I'd taken a couple of other quizzes, and I tend to always get placed in either Slytherin or Ravenclaw. I think the sort of cunning ambition of Slytherin identifies with me, but the creative side comes from Ravenclaw. A lot of the other Ravenclaw qualities aren't necessarily me, but I think I'm sort of a half Slytherin, half Ravenclaw. That's sort of how I see it. That's how I see it going down. As for the Ilvermorny thing, I don't really support that actually, because I feel like it was just like a marketing push for the Fantastic Beasts trailer, so I feel like it's kind of hokey, but yeah, I don't want to start any fights with any Potter fans, so let's move on. Next question comes from Mandy Schmidt. Am I a fan of Disney parks, and if yes, which one am I the fondest of, and which one would I want to go to? And thanks for the congratulations. You know, I haven't been to a Disney park in so long. A long time ago, when me and my sister were just wee youngins, we used to go to Disney World. You know, we'd been there 3, maybe 4 times. God. Take 2. So I've never been to Disneyland, but I've been to Disney World a bunch of times, but not for a really long time, and I would love to go back because I know like animatronics and sound design and just like sort of immersive effects have probably gone so far since I've been there. So I'm really excited to someday get the chance to go back. I would love to go back. Jel Kajaya Tai wants to know, how did I get into drawing, and is it a habit now? I didn't really get into drawing, I wouldn't say. I just have always been a doodler, and I've never been that great. I used to be in art classes and stuff as a kid, but I used to love like drawing 2 things, like monsters and creatures, or like, because I used to love Doom, like original Doom, when I was a kid, and like Duke Nukem and stuff, so I drew a lot of like commandos with machine guns and stuff. I don't know. So I used to get scolded a bunch. I think I remember my teacher bringing my parents in because I was drawing too many guns. Come on. Alana Bloomberg, I'm gonna go with Bloomberg, wants to know what team I'm on in Pokemon Go, and Team Mystic, baby, for life. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that Game Theorist video, but here's what I have to say about that. I didn't choose it because of it's in the center or any sort of psychological things. I chose it because when I looked at it, there was 3 legendary birds tethered to each one. You can either choose Zapdos, Moltres, or Articuno. And Articuno is my favorite legendary bird, and blue is my favorite color. So that's the reason that I picked Team Mystic, and I stand by it, and I'm a proud Mystic trainer. Okay, Aljuri Eladali wants to know 4 questions, but we're just gonna pick one. I will pick a couple. I see a couple good ones in there. My favorite ice cream flavor is cookies and cream. I go to it every time. Cookies and cream with a waffle cone? Get out of here. Do I like pickles? Yes, I love pickles, but anyone that knows me knows that I do not like pickles on my cheeseburger. So anytime I order a cheeseburger, which is a lot because it's like my favorite food, the pickles gotta go. Lux Drop 5 wants to know, what's my opinion on death and how it's portrayed in everyday life versus cartoons? My opinion on death is it's something that I don't want to happen to me anytime soon. That would be great. To be honest with you guys, I am just becoming acclimated with real life death. I've only known one person ever to die, and it hit me pretty hard, like a reality check, like, wow, people can die in this world, you know? Like when you're young, like when you're in high school and no one you've ever known has died, you sort of don't realize yet that people can die. So that was like a big thing for me, just like realizing that. I don't know if that's what you mean about how it's portrayed in everyday life. My thoughts on death in cartoons, it's a very easy thing to use as a vehicle, right? So like, if you kill a character in a Disney movie, oh, this Disney movie is so deep, and you know what I mean? Just because you kill a character or kill some parents or kill someone doesn't make the movie better. So that's something that's been kind of a weird thing lately with Disney movies. There's been a lot of death, and I think they realize that they are able to just, they're able to pull those heartstrings. And I'm kind of curious to see whether a very important character will die in Moana, either right at the start or right at the end. So I hope they can just kind of play it straight and still earn their story. But I have a feeling that someone important is going to die right at the start or right at the end. But yeah, those are my thoughts on death in life and in cartoons. Very brief. Death is a big subject. Pogo Mojo wants to know, have I ever done any animations of any sort or thought about it? I sort of already answered this, but I'm going to give you guys, just to watch this, a link to something that that not a lot of people who are subscribed to this channel have seen. Certainly not 500,000 people have seen. I did start a series. I drew it 100% myself. I wrote it myself. I directed it. I directed a voice cast of over 13 voice actors. I did all the sound mixing. I gathered sound effects. I mixed them all together. I did the whole soundtrack. I didn't write it, but I found artists that I could use for the soundtrack. I recognize that the drawing isn't that great in these, but I'm really proud of the producer side that I took on this project in terms of writing it and just kind of making it happen and getting it to kind of feel polished and getting it to kind of move along as a story. And I think it's pretty cool, so you guys can check that out. I'm hoping to develop another project down the line, but it's something I'm pretty proud of, so you guys can click and check them out if you like. But I'm afraid we're out of time. Alyssa Steiner wants to know if I have a favorite musical, and if I could be in it, what character would I want to play? I love Wicked, Rent, Into the Woods, Sunday in the Park with George, Sweeney Todd. I love Stephen Sondheim, as you probably guessed. I think Into the Woods or Sunday in the Park with George would probably be my favorite musicals. I don't know if there's a role in Sunday in the Park with George that I would want, but in Into the Woods, I would love to play one of the princes. I'm sure you'll see Agony pop up in one of my videos down the road. For the record, I was a big fan of Sondheim, Sweeney Todd, and Into the Woods before they were feature films, but I don't actually hate those movies. I think they're really fun spins on the properties. So thank you for the question, Alyssa. Abdul Rahman Almadares wants to know what my favorite cartoon series on at the moment is, and for me personally, it's without question BoJack Horseman. When BoJack Horseman dropped season 3 on Netflix, I watched it like so fast that I felt like I'd never watched any television series that fast in my life. It made me very sad when it came to an end. In terms of what's actually airing on television right now, I'd probably say Rick and Morty, or Star vs. the Forces of Evil maybe. I've still been keeping up here and there with Loud House, which is also very good. Yeah. Creamy Gutierrez wants to know who is my favorite Pokemon. My favorite Pokemon has always been Primeape. I don't know why. I think a lot of it had to do with the Primeape episodes in the show. He's just like, I love fighting Pokemon. Like, I love Hitmonlee. I love Machamp. I love just sort of the fighting vibe of Pokemon. Poliwrath too is really cool. So any Pokemon that integrates the fighting type, I really tend to love. I don't know why. That's not like something I've been like really excited about. A lot of people, they like have loved like fire-based characters, so they like fire-type Pokemon. Fighting and rock-type Pokemon I've tended to really like I love Onix too, and Geodude. Yeah, Primeape is my favorite Pokemon. I love the idea that like you could have a Pokemon that's actually taller than you. Kind of like the one that Ash had. Although Ash, I suppose, was just like a little kid, so his Primeape would... But wouldn't it be cool if there was a Primeape that was like 7 foot tall and he was just like your bodyguard, ready to just bash in the head of anyone? So, yeah. Cares Crazy Cupcakes. Little tongue twister there. Wants to know if I have a girlfriend and what's my major. I had a girlfriend when I started this channel, but I no longer do. Not that it's related to the channel, but that's just the facts. I don't currently have a major because I've already graduated college, but in college I majored in graphic design and digital media. Ghosty Dove wants to know if I like Jell-O. Not particularly. I don't dislike it, but I would never like go to, you know, a supermarket and be like, hey, Jell-O, and then buy it and then eat it. You know, but if someone gave me some Jell-O, I'd probably eat it. Ghost Dovey also wants to know if I can juggle. I can juggle, but I don't have anything to juggle. So a lot of the stuff that we had in our house, in our basement, is kind of gone. So I couldn't find any stuff to juggle, but I did find this random bag of marbles. So let's try to juggle some marbles. I can't imagine this is going to go well for me, because they're kind of small, but let's see if we can't juggle some marbles. Hey! Oh, shoot! It's hard to juggle something that small. That's what Aiden Anderson, aka Silly Scrappy 1757, wants to know what my favorite type of cheese is. And I think I have two answers. My first answer, if I'm just like consuming cheese, I love a good smoked Gouda. And actually, it's cheaper at Trader Joe's to get smoked Gouda than like anything else. So hit up that smoked Gouda if you're ever there. But I also love like just plain old American cheese, just like on a cheeseburger or something. Great. This question comes from Brandon Gooden, and it's one of the most common questions I get of all time, or a variation of such. What's my real name? My real name is Chad Lewis. Of course, you guys know that I say my name at the beginning of pretty much every video. Chad here from Lewtoons. Let's go. And they say, well, if your name's Chad, why is your channel called Lewtoons? It's some sort of spoof on Looney Tunes. But no, it's my last name is Lewis, Lewis. I came up with it one random day, and that's what it is now forever. So, c'est la vie. Hannah Whitkin wants to know if I consider myself an extrovert or an introvert, and I definitely identify more as an introvert. When you sit yourself down in front of a camera, you can't just sit there and be like, oh gosh. You have to, you know, light up a little bit. You have to, you know, go from off to on and when you're talking to a camera. But on the same front, I'm in an empty room. There's no one here. I can do whatever I want. And that is a big part of filming videos. You know, I wouldn't say I'm shy, but, you know, I would definitely identify more as an introvert. When it comes to making videos, that's a time when you can maybe be a little bit more outgoing, because all you got to deal with is the little old camera. And of course it takes you know, some getting used to look into a camera lens, but after a month or two, you'll look right into it, and it's like I'm looking right at you. And you know, a lot of people ask me, they say, why do you drink in your videos, dude? Do you think that like makes you look cool or something? The real answer to that is that when I first sat down in this exact spot with the camera sitting exactly where it is, you know, you're not used to like just sitting alone with a camera in a room. So, you know, maybe having a couple drinks, you get yourself a little, you know, a little buzz, feeling good, ready to record some stuff. And that's how that started, and it just kind of became a tradition. And hey, even to this day, when I jump in front of a camera, me and a camera, alone in a room, a couple drinks don't hurt, trust me. Laser XL wants to know about my video making process, and well, it's a pretty long process. Sometimes it involves sticking the camera in a fridge. I'm reminded, and I always talk about this Simpsons quotes montage I did. I did like a top 10 Simpsons quotes within a top 10 cartoon quotes, and I had to like scrub like every Simpsons episode just to find like times when characters said certain things, and it can really turn into a monstrous process. But once you write everything, once you go around and capture all of the footage that you need, then you can start to record the script, which is a whole process. You've got your microphone, your computer. I do that all in GarageBand. Then I do my on-camera filming. I have a Canon camera, which I'm looking at right now. Probably looks like I'm looking at you, but I'm looking right down the lens. I've got my Canon camera. I film. I've got all these beautiful lights. Look at that. That I use. And we film this, and then we've got to edit all of the on-camera footage, all of the voice cracks that I have in between. Those gotta go. And then we get all of those pieces, the recorded voice tracks, the on-camera stuff, the captured footage, and we gotta smush it all together into our edit file. And that is a very, very long process. And then got ourselves a video, guys. Julia Andrews wants to know if I do anything related to Harry Potter. Not really. I'm sorry. Until Harry Potter comes out with its own animated show, this will probably be a Harry Potter-less channel. That Gamer 13 wants to know what's my favorite episode in Gravity Falls, and lucky for that Gamer 13, I've made an entire countdown all about this, my top 10 favorite Gravity Falls episodes, which you can click on and watch right there. Stormberry MC wants to know what I think of the Pixar theory, and I have a very simple opinion on it. I think that it's a little bit silly. People tend to dig a little bit too deep into some theories. They want more out of things than are really there, I think, especially when it comes to animation. When it comes to the Pixar theory, basically what's happening is people are tethering together things intended to be Easter eggs and turning them into like continuity and canon, which is just not the case. These are just simply Easter eggs, and you don't want to stretch too far, because sometimes people just want to tell a contained story and not have to have it tethered to some other story. They just want to have their own story. So I don't really think that the witch in Brave is actually Boo, despite the Easter eggs that appear in movies. So I hate to be disappointing about that. I know you guys have enjoyed some of my Gravity Falls theories, but Gravity Falls is very conducive to theories. This, I think, is not. Brittany Darling 18 has a few questions. I'm just going to pick a few of them, I suppose. And thank you for the congratulations. Do I have any formal art or animation training? I have no animation training. I'm completely self-taught. I just learned from books in terms of animation, but I have taken drawing classes all my life. And my least favorite food is, without question, calamari, aka squid. Not only is it chewy, but just the visual of squids and eating them is kind of creeps me out a little bit. Dick Chappie wants to know, since I enjoy some modern cartoons like Steven Universe, what are my opinions on old classics like Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry? I've enjoyed Steven Universe a lot less recently. That's something for a whole nother video. I've actually kind of dropped off of Steven Universe at the moment, but I'm going to try to pick back up. But if you're someone that wants to be an animator or wants to get into the animation industry, that classic stuff like Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry is required reading, especially Looney Tunes. To me, is something really special. Not the Brendan Fraser stuff, but yeah, Looney Tunes is very close to my heart, and yeah. Lucky Shots wants to know, what is my favorite video game? Currently, I've been playing a lot of Overwatch. I've been playing a bit of The Sims, a little bit of Dead Space, a little bit of Borderlands. Well, Borderlands 2 I'm on to now. And League of Legends. Those are some of the games that have been my favorites of late. I love XCOM as well, but if you're talking about all-time, Banjo-Kazooie has always stuck out of my mind as like one of my all-time favorites. The original Pokemon Red and Blue 2 are probably, I'd say Pokemon Red and Blue and Banjo-Kazooie are probably like my very favorite video games of all time. Angelica Martinez wants to know, what's in my pocket right now? Oh no! Oh! I think I have something. Oh, it's the beer cap from the beer that we opened earlier. Bloop! VG Lightning wants to know, who is my favorite gem from Steven Universe? Pearl all the way. And when I was at New York Comic Con, actually, I met like this gorgeous girl who was cosplaying as Pearl, and I was dressed as one of the war boys from Mad Max. And kind of hit it off, but then we sort of went our separate ways. It's a romance that will be lost forever into the abyss that is cons. Okay, Jennifer Wynn wants to know about every animated movie of the year. She says she's enjoying it, and I'm so happy that you guys are enjoying it because it's been a really fascinating series. You know, I would not make my way out to see all these movies, but it's been nice to have a reason to have to go see them just so I can get a really good perspective on, you know, the landscape of animated movies for the entire year. She wants to know if it's something I'm going to do every year or just for 2016. And I just don't know yet. It's really going to depend on if you guys want to see the series continue. But thanks for enjoying it, Jennifer. I really appreciate it. Andres Sebastian Cabezas Haro wants to know if I can show my equipment for my videos, microphone, computer, editing programs, etc. Down the line, I would really like to make a full video about like all of my gear and my lights and you know, all this stuff, and my camera and my computer and my software and all this for you guys to see, but not something I can set up today really, but soon, I promise. TM. Jacob Allen Films wants to know if my parents approve of YouTube, and to say that my parents approve of me doing YouTube would be like an understatement. If I said I wanted to make a living selling, you know, papayas on the corner, they would they would be like, "We're so proud of you. You sold so many papayas out there." My parents love to watch my YouTube channel, and they're so excited to see that I had hit 500,000 subscribers. I hope that your guys' parents are supportive. Know that I support you. Even if your parents don't, I support you. Follow your dreams, and I mean, I can't buy you any books or programs, but I can give you my support. This is the part of the video where I realize that I'm like 1/8 through, but I've already been filming for 4 hours. Alfie Connor asks, my question is, what is your opinion on sudden reboots of old cartoons? When new cartoons come out and they try to succeed, they just get shut down and they make no money, no one buys their action figures. But then when someone makes like something that's a reboot, generally, people will pay, they'll watch it, it gets good ratings because it's familiar. It's the culture that we live in, it's unfortunate. All I can say is that if there's any young viewers out there that are excited to create your own stuff, just keep doing it, and maybe your generation could be the one that kind of takes over with original stuff instead of reboots. I believe in you! Megan Awesomeboli. Awesomeboli, it's like a Stromboli, but it's awesome. What has been my favorite video I've made? Which one took the longest to complete? Those are... I think that might be the same answer, which would be my My Little Pony Retoon video. I just kind of like shut down everything, and I still had a full-time job at that point, but it was like I would go to work at 7:30, I would get home at like 6 p.m. and then I would just like watch like a ton of My Little Pony, and a lot of days I was just like zombie watching it. I was like, not that to say I hate it, and I'm talking about like original My Little Pony, G2, G3, all of this stuff, and I was watching My Little Pony for so long, and I was just taking notes, and I was just like, I feel like I was like a method actor. I was just like immersed in the culture. I was watching Brony documentaries. I'm really proud of the work that I did because I think it's a very comprehensive and objective look at My Little Pony as a whole. And I don't think there's anything like that on the internet or in documentary or in anything. That's my answer. Please Rewind Napoleon wants to know, if I could do a collab, who would I do it with and why? And the choice seems so clear to me. I would love to do a video with Captain Disillusion. I don't think it would ever happen. I don't know where he lives, but I think we could do a pretty cool debunk video about like animation or something. I don't really know, but I would love to do a video with him. He's kind of like my favorite YouTuber. So, dreams, goals. Zoldan asks if I have a DeviantArt, and I don't currently, but I feel like I probably should have one, because it's a question I get a lot. But I suspect if I go over to DeviantArt and look my name up, someone will have already taken it. So we'll see. I don't know if the DeviantArt will be a reality. I'll let you guys know on Twitter. Prudence the Apprentice wants to know, what would be my ultimate cartoon crossover? Now, I'm going to throw out the rules. Okay, so my camera just shut off from overheating, but we were talking about cartoon crossovers, and long story short, I think a regular show Rick and Morty crossover could be pretty fun, because I think those guys would have a fun time interacting with each other. Let's move on. SNK wants to know what my inspiration is for starting my YouTube channel, and thank you for saying that I'm one of your favorite YouTube channels. I really appreciate it. Never gets old to hear. I know there's so many YouTube channels out there to watch, so I appreciate that you guys do watch my videos. I really do. I can't thank you enough. But what's my inspiration for starting? Really, it's just to sort of fuse all of my interests, because doing this YouTube channel, it sort of like activates so many things that I love, from, you know, being a producer, which is kind of like something that I'm best at, to being an artist, to editing video, to sound mixing, to, you know, being on camera and performing a little bit here and there. And it makes me really thrilled and excited, and the fact that you guys keep tuning in to hang out with me, it's icing on the cake. Vivek J wants to know my favorite superhero from the comics, and if he has been in a movie. He's not been in a movie. My favorite superhero from comic books is the Tick. Someday I will show you guys my comic book collection, but I've said many times, I never really read DC and Marvel comic books growing up. I read The Simpsons, The Tick, and a comic book called Scud, which I'll show you guys sometime. But The Tick was like my comic book hero growing up. I loved the cartoon, of course, and I was obsessed with every Marvel and DC cartoon on air at the time, so I feel like I have an upbringing with DC and Marvel, but I just never really read any of the comic books. I hope to change that sometime soon, but we'll see. But thanks for your question, Vivek J. Trash Mouse wants to know if I've watched the new Voltron reboot on Netflix. I have. I'm not done with it yet. I think I'm about halfway through. I'm really enjoying it, but I think that they gave away one of the major spoilers a little bit too early. I think that was a detail of the show that they could have really held on to for a while, but I think they wanted to get it out in the first bit of the show for a bit of... well, I don't want to spoil anything, but I've been enjoying it, and I'm excited to finish up this season, and I hope there's a season 2. They deserve it. COD God 49er wants to know when I will do another Drawing Childhood Monsters. I definitely want to make another one of those videos. I had so much fun making it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So a lot of people seem to enjoy it, but I just haven't had time to work another one of those in. And coincidentally enough, I'm thinking October will be the next time I'll do one. I think that might have been last year during October. It's a very Halloween-y type of video. Leah Dodson wants to know what I think of Jennifer Morrison's voice acting performance as Judy Hopps in Zootopia. I don't know if this is a test or not, but I think it was actually the other actress from Once Upon a Time that did Judy Hopps. I could be wrong, but I don't want to check it out because I've got my computer in a spot where I don't want to move it. Whichever Once Upon a Time actress it was, I think it was the other main actress of Once Upon a Time. But I think she did a great job, so generally I agree with you. Mira Bean wants to know, will I ever review or theorize about Miraculous Ladybug? That's a show that I've been meaning to watch for the longest time, but just haven't got quite to it yet. I think it's on Nickelodeon, and Nickelodeon makes their shows infamously hard to watch. Just like out there generally, like you can watch like 2 episodes on the website on this horrible player. Not to hate on you, Nickelodeon, but yeah, I think that it's on Nickelodeon, but I'm going to check it out at some point. And you know, if it turns out I love it, I'll probably make a review on it. If it turns out I hate it, I'll probably make a review on it. If it turns out I'm kind of like, meh, then I'll probably you probably won't hear from me about it. I'll probably just be like, I don't really care about it. Vanessa Hainan wants to know, what did the idea of Gretel come from? Because she enjoys her as much as me in the videos. Well, I'm sure she'd be very happy to hear that. The idea of Gretel comes from me sitting with my camera by myself, like I talked about a bit earlier, and just having, you know, someone to play off of and someone to kind of be sort of the anti, you know, whatever it is that I'm doing, she's sort of the opposite, and just sort of to create, you know, just sort of to elevate the Lewtoons mythos, the Lewtoons universe. That's kind of how she came to be. And I didn't know whether she would stay. I didn't know whether Skellingbones would stay. I did that character, the Toonslinger, and he's gone. We ain't seeing him again. Well, we might. But, you know, some characters work, some don't. And you gotta just throw them in and see how they do. And Gretel just, you know, people love her. People ask about her a lot. And, you know, that means a lot to me because she's, you know, ultimately a part of me. But I'm happy that you enjoy her so much. I think that's fantastic. So thanks for the question. Toon Lexi wants to know if I could bring back one obscure show that was canned. What would it be? Let's say it all in unison. Thundercats 2011! I think I've been talking about Thundercats 2011 for 4 years now. Next question comes from Malcolm Wong. Do I wish for Gravity Falls Season 3? I have a pretty firm stance on this, and I have a feeling you guys will already know what I'm going to say, but the answer is absolutely not. I know Alex Hirsch is already invested and involved in a whole nother project over on Fox, and if they were to just pry those characters away from him in a sense and just make more episodes anyways, it would actually break my heart more than it would fill my heart. So I think Gravity Falls ended in a fantastic way. I think, you know, have Alex Hirsch do what he's doing over on Fox, and when he feels the time is right to revisit those characters, that's the time when they should come back, and not a moment sooner. Virago Sue wants to know, hey, have I heard of Bob Jones? I heard he's working at Subway. Touché. Tasuki Condor wants to know what my favorite cartoon was growing up. I had a few. I really was raised on like G.I. Joe, Thundercats, He-Man, and that's about it. Those 3 are pretty important to me in terms of growing up. Yeah, Also wants to know if I could live in a different country, what would it be? I've always wanted to go to Japan or England. Those are two countries that I've always wanted to visit. I don't know if I would want to live there because I haven't been there yet, but let's start with visit. Ryan Stitch wants to know any advice for someone who wants to start an animation-based channel like mine. Download some editing software and just practice with it until you feel really comfortable. And probably the best advice I would give you is get a nice microphone. Even if you have to save up any income that you can get, whether it be allowance or just coins out of a couch, get a good microphone because sound quality is something that's very underestimated on YouTube for beginner YouTubers. So don't sleep on it. Next, Alucard wants to know, have I ever had a pet? If so, what is their name? Growing up, my family had two cats, Magic and Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi was like an outdoor cat. He was like outside all the time, hunting, eating rabbits. Well, he wasn't eating rabbits, but he was like killing rabbits and dragging them back onto our porch. It was very gross. Our other cat was like, kind of like Garfield, except way more fat and way more lazy. He was just like a big slob. I'll put a picture on screen so you guys can see these two. We are nearing the finish line. Not actually the finish line of the thousands of questions, but the finish line of my personal rope, of which I will reach the end of. Easton Anims wants to know what I edit with. I use Adobe Premiere and a bit of After Effects here and there to do pretty much all of my editing. But yeah. Megastar555 wants to know if I've ever read Homestuck. And I've never read Homestuck. I really don't know much about what it is, but I've always thought about doing a video because people always ask me if I know what Homestuck is or if I've read it. So sometimes I think about doing a video where basically I go from 0 to like 100 with Homestuck and just like figure out what it is, like a full documentary. I talked about my My Little Pony sort of documentary, and I was thinking of doing something similar with Homestuck. I don't know. Let me know if that sounds interesting to you guys. I don't really know what it is, even. Alyssa Levenberg asks, how's it going, Alyssa? I know you from Twitter and stuff. Now that Gravity Falls... This is a question I get a lot, by the way. Now that Gravity Falls is over and I can't do those types of theory videos for that show, will I pick up another show to look at? And, i.e. Steven Universe Adventure Time. And as you can tell, after Gravity Falls has ended, that I haven't really done that. And I think a lot of people have been like disappointed, I think. They're like, wow, this guy's not a theorist channel at all. And the thing you've got to understand is, I was never a theorist channel. The reason why I dug into those Gravity Falls theories is because Gravity Falls is a show that invites theories and things like that, whereas when you start to dig into like theories about South Park, you start to like look for things that aren't really there. As far as Adventure Time, I know that there's a lot of shrouded histories in Steven Universe as well, but I just don't love Steven Universe and Adventure Time enough to like latch into them in that way. But I do have an exciting conspiracy theory video coming for Disney Month, as well as a Gravity Falls video coming in Disney Month. So get excited for that. At least. But thanks for the question, Alyssa. I appreciate you asking the question. Jason Vera asks, how often do I find myself constipated? Okay, I think we're going to call it there. I think 5.5 hours of Q&A questioning should do the trick. Hopefully I answered your question. Don't forget, you can always ask me questions 24/7 at my Twitter, at Lewtoons. I try to answer every single tweet I get, so long as it's reasonable. I just want to thank you guys once again for asking questions, subscribing. It's literally amazing. So that's about all I got, and I will see you next time, right?